This ridge is probably, say, 2019. I came down here with former Chief Lloyd and Second Chief Hicks, myself, and the former speaker. We came down just visit the site, and just kind of a conversation started then. Would Creek Nation be interested coming down? And after that, just never did hear anything. But after we come in office, we kind of reached back out to them, and probably a year or so, the conversation picked back up. And so the plans, they just start working together, and here we are today. It's just more or less educating them. I know Second Chief had an experience with a citizen here, and my wife, that they didn't know. They just did a walking trail, and that was it. There's kiosks where you can read everything, and a lot of the citizens that walked the trail didn't know the history. So that's more or less what we want to do is, tell them the history, the culture of Mvskoke Creek Nation. Arvika, this is Arvika Tribal Town's origin, and just educating everyone who we are. We're still here, we're not going away, but create that partnership with Oxford. I know Dr. Monty Randall, the president of the college, already reached out to Jackson to work with them, and Rayland, their departments, reach out to the high school here to showcase some of our books of Mvskoke Creek Nation history. So, this is just the beginning on opportunities that we can work together.
When we came for the ribbon cutting of the walking trail, as a citizen from here, I was just talking with her, and she asked me, "This is such a beautiful country, why'd you ever leave?" And that just floored me. And so obviously that there was a lack in true history, and it's not like it's right or wrong. It's just that's just the way sometimes things go. And so after talking with the mayor, we had an opportunity to create a partnership, and so we just seized that opportunity. And it's not just anything that we did. It's people that laid the foundation before us, and so we just took it one step farther, and we felt that we needed to come back and establish our presence here in Alabama, and let people know that, hey, this is our original homelands. There's only one Mvskoke, and it's about creating that partnership, and just let people know from here on out that the history of this land, and just let people know, like Chief said, that hey, we're not, we're still around, we're still a people, and people just don't know that, people just, and even our people back home have never made it back to the homelands, so it's educational for everybody, and it's a process that maybe some people feel is like a healing process, because removal didn't happen not too long ago in the history in the history of the United States. It wasn't too long ago, so there's still the aspect that we got to heal and learn to forgive, but we should never forget things like that, and so with everything going on, you see about CRT and those types of things, history is history, and it's meant to be told. So
I guess without further ado, I'll introduce Jonadab Chaudhary. He's our Mvskoke Creek Nation ambassador out of D.C.
Hello, Speaker.
Hello, Speaker. Hello, Speaker. And Mado to Ann up here for working with Luann and everybody involved to work with the city of Oxford to put together this incredible event. So we were a nation before the United States, and we helped shape the government of the nation. Beyond the government, we helped shape the very lands of this nation and the world. We're here at Chocolaco Park at the confluence of the Chocolaco Creek. Oxford gained its name because of the farming community that grew out of the confluence of the rivers here. That's how Oxford gained its name. That's why this area is known as the Chocolaco watershed. Chocolaco, as you all know, comes from Jocolaco, big house, the kind of centerpiece of our towns and our communities. And this mound area was connected. We're in the territory of Arvika. Arvika is one of our still thriving, active ceremonial grounds whose fires have remained uninterrupted since removal in the 1830s. Arbika is a strong tribal town where we give thanks and we honor Arbika's role in shaping the landscape you see today. But beyond Arbika, we're a stone's throw away from Mvskoke, we're a stone's throw away from Horseshoe Bend. You know, people call it the battle. It was truly a massacre. We're a stone's throw away from a lot of the tribal ceremonial grounds that we now see in the Okemah area of Oklahoma. And that's important. This area itself was one of the hubs of our nation. Major decisions of our nation could only be held at certain times of the year in full council, in full national council. The opening words that Speaker Lowe just provided calls back a day when our nation engaged in true nationhood governance at this very spot. We're stone's throw away from one of the three major capitals that had moved around historically. That's what today is. We're coming home to assist the people who are now here in helping shape the lands, the government, and the future of this community in a spirit of healing and a spirit of vision of a better tomorrow together. But we do it with a tie to where we come from and a tie to this nationhood that was the heart of the Mvskoke Creek Nation. Traditionally, when somebody would be born, your umbilical cord would be born and it would be buried in your ceremonial grounds. It would bring full circle your life and your connection to those historical ceremonial grounds. In the 1830s, when we were forced to leave these communities, we knew that we had to keep our fires going. I think Mvskoke Creek Nation is proud that 17, 16, 17, depending on how you look at it, of our original fires are still burning in Oklahoma. Original fires that have enduring, uninterrupted flames from the time we lived here. But we knew that we couldn't immediately return to where our umbilical cords were buried. So traditionally, you had to return, you had to be buried where your umbilical cord is. And on a day like today, and I think of how many ancestors we are among, whose spirits are with us today, whose umbilical cords are buried in these grounds we're looking upon. How powerful it is to have our nation's leadership and our nation's government say to those whose umbilical cords are here today, we're home. We're home. And if we think about that in terms of what that means and what we've endured as Creek people, that is a powerful, powerful sentiment. We are home. But we're not here in a spirit of negativity. We're here in a spirit of positivity. We're here in a spirit of gratitude. We've heard many thanks rightfully given to the Mayor of Oxford, the Council of Oxford, and the community here for their willingness to invite us to come home and to work with us to consider future ways that our great governments can work together. When we talk about the Mvskoke Creek civilization, we're talking about one of the great civilizations of the world. You look at the mounds that exist today, they're on par with the mounds you'll see, the pyramids and the Yucatan Peninsula, the pyramids in Egypt. We were part of one of the most advanced civilizations of all time. And our mounds stretch all throughout the Ohio River Valley, throughout the entire eastern and midwestern part of the United States. We helped shape the world. We helped shape the world in every way imaginable. And we're here today to come home, to work with the city of Oxford to reshape the future. So from the bottom of my heart as ambassador, I'm honored to be among you. I'm honored that my wife, Mary Catherine, my boys, Amati and Kano, are right here to witness this day and this event. And just from the bottom of my heart, just want to say, Mado, we're home. Mado.